Hello and welcome to Sol Trader live commentary. I'm Chris, I'm the developer of Sol Trader. Just trying to find out whether or not this is working or not, and whether the audio is working, and then we'll crack on. Just going to write a tweet, just making sure this works. Let's just retweet that in various places. Sounds like the sound is working. Excellent. Okay, if you have questions or comments, I'll be very happy to hear them and listen to them. That's definitely something that I'm interested in looking at and doing with you guys. So, just make sure this is still working. So I guess the first news is that I am in New York City, which is kind of fun. I'm currently staying here. I'm doing some training with a client for the next few days. Leaving again Thursday night. So first time in New York, it's been pretty cool. I spent the day today looking around and checking things out, but because I'm on English time, I'm a bit tired now. I'm a bit jet lagged, so I've come home and I thought I'd squeeze some live streaming in because I haven't done any live streaming for a couple of weeks. So yeah, looking forward to it. One thing I didn't do with that tweet, which is a mistake, was not to put the game dev and indie game hashtags on it. I just have to delete those and redo that. Sorry about this. This kind of promotion is really important, otherwise. Retweet. And then delete. Copy that. Delete the tweet, add the tweet. Twitch.tv. Chris NDP. There's one game dev. And then indie game. Live dev? Is that even a thing? Dev live? Don't know. Anyway, that'll do. That's better. Let me try retweeting that. Great. Cool. Now I'm getting some retweets, so that hopefully people will start watching. So say hi if you haven't been to this stream before. You're very welcome. I'm going to actually start coding in a minute. First, I just need to do the standard things, which is post on the random discussion thread. Random discussion thread. Why can't I log in? Oh, that's because I'm not logged in. I'm in there. So I'm currently working on getting the ship transitions into the game. Leaving planet transitions in. Of course, I'm not doing that at the moment. What I'm doing right now is is tweeting about it, but I definitely will be doing that. I'm watching the chat window on my phone, so I don't need to have that up all the time. Great. Make sure Enigma's got it too. Yes, it has. Excellent. Good stuff. Okay, so on with the show. Right, so this is something that you won't have seen yet because it's brand new. But we've got. I spent a bunch of time on the plane yesterday working on the game, and I've got different types of ships in, which is really awesome. So we'll just go through this process, generating a character. I'm going to go this really quite quick because I've shown this before. Okay. Now, if you are a trader and you pass a wisdom check and a wealth check, you get different ships. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. So at the moment, I've given us. Oh, it's a bit jerky, but I guess that's the live streaming. If I turn on maneuver and engines, turn off shields. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty bad at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, countries is taking. Oh, there goes a ship. So you can see a few things that have changed. We've got these little ships here. That's a slightly larger fighter. You get that if you fail a wisdom check because it's not the greatest thing to take if you're a trader. So you can see all the different types of ships with some test colours in there too. And we've got some really big trading ships here as well. And you've got little triangles for the showing the actually that radar's not looking great. I need to fix that. Anyway, yeah, you've got little triangles for the ships now, so we can easily see what's going on. Cool. So hopefully that's great. However, we've got a couple of problems. We can see that the particles are being drawn over the ships. That's an issue. I need to look into that. The other thing that's kind of annoying is that when a ship leaves a planet, so the jerkiness, that's dreadful. Yeah, that's really worrying. I'll need to try and figure out how to fix that on the live streams later. When I leave a planet, I just pop in like that, which used to be fine for the smaller ships, but when you have these really large ships, it gets really annoying. I just sort of pop into place and cover the view, which is kind of irritating. So what I'd like to do is fix that. I'd also like to fix the fact that the recording the screen seems to be very slow, which is kind of a shame. Okay, so let's have a look at the transition stuff. I can hear the housekeeping people coming around. I'm in New York at the moment, in case you missed that. I'm in a hotel, so you could easily get housekeeping interruptions. Hopefully you won't, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so the way that the transitions work is that when you, for example, enter a planet, what happens, we do a start move through. So we're starting to move through a gate of the celestial bodies of planets in the game, and that's kind of like a gate. There's a gate interface that they have, which is basically start, move through, and end, move through. And a celestial body is a gate. It's the act of entering the atmosphere, and then we start the start enter atmosphere transition, passing in the celestial body, and we have the enter atmosphere transition time, milliseconds, which is defined in the celestial body, and it's a second and a half, so that's fine. So start enter atmosphere, we're going to need a similar thing to this. Okay, if we don't have a transition, if we already have a transition, we ignore. Otherwise, we create an entering atmosphere transition. Let's see. What that does is it creates a second and a half transition, which we set. This is just the saving stuff, and what we do is we just make the ship smaller when we enter the atmosphere. So we basically progressively make the ship smaller. until it's of no size at all. Now, the next thing to do would be to create a leaving atmosphere transition. So when we finished moving through the planet, we land. Now the question is what happens on leave? When we leave the planet, that's an action that we do something about. So we move to the containing location of. Now instead of setting the location, what we kind of want to do is set that new. What do we want to do? Instead of entering the atmosphere, we want to start leave planet. Start leave atmosphere would be the right thing to call it. We've got start enter atmosphere, start leave atmosphere. Okay, exactly the same way. I don't think we need the celestial body that we're going to, because the reason that we need that is because the entering atmosphere transition requires it. No, it doesn't actually. What do we use it for? Sorry about all the horns downstairs. We are in New York after all. And it seems that people just get off on firing their horns constantly. This is not something that I'm used to. Crikey, it's getting worse. Something must be going on down there. So anyway, the celestial body, it's the destination gate. And the reason we need the destination gate is because in here, we finish by saying we have ended the move through. Now quite why we need to end the move through? Because then that's the ship landing on the planet. Fine, well we don't need any of that, because what we can do is we can set the location here, as we're doing normally. Do say hi on the chat window if you haven't said hello before. I'll just make sure that still works. Okay, so what we can do here is we can say ship, set the location, so we're in the new location. We don't need to set locations here. We can just say ship start leave atmosphere, and then we can just say however long we're going to leave for. I think there should be 3 seconds, so let's just create that. Enter atmosphere transition time in milliseconds. We need to do a similar thing. Int unsigned leave. Let's start with enter atmosphere and just rename that. Leave atmosphere transition time in milliseconds. I'm going to set that to 3 seconds to start with. Make that static constant. Okay, and then we can just simply say leave atmosphere transition time in milliseconds. Now there's nothing to do at the end of this transition. The previous one we needed to do something at the end of it, but for this one we don't. So we don't need a celestial body, all we just need to do is transition milliseconds. Right, so we need to copy. Right, now because I've changed the header file, the ship.h file, it's going to take a while to rebuild, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run rebuild in parallel in the background whilst I finish off this method. Okay, and then we can say if transition count. We don't want to. We can't start leaving the atmosphere if we have already got a transition, which we won't have. Okay, so transition manager add, and then we need a new leaving atmosphere transition. Now the entering atmosphere transition requires a ship. Why do we need a ship? We don't need a ship. It's simpler than the other one. So we just need the transitions. Fine. Okay, so we've got the leaving transition. Now we need. Sorry, we've got the ship method. Now we need one of these. A leaving atmosphere transition. Oops. Don't need a ship. Don't need a ship. Don't need a ship. Right, on finish, we don't need anything. I don't know if whether or not I need to define on finish. Let's see. The answer is no. What if I draw parameters? Yes, this is important. We want Ram's height and width to be progress minus ship size. That's fine. So we want it to slowly appear. To save it, we don't need that. We don't need that either. Okay, so now we've got the save method that this is used for saving a transition that's in progress. So we've got entering atmosphere, transition, where's the transition setting? Right, so we pass in, that's fine. Yeah, so the saving will work fine. It's the loading that's the problem. We'll need to create that leaving atmosphere thing. It's easy enough to do. Leaving atmosphere. Let's put that down there. Okay, and then once we've done that, it's the game loading that will be a problem. Entering atmosphere. Right. Okay, we don't need the body. Yeah. So now if we are leaving the atmosphere, we just need to do start leave atmosphere transition progress, and what that will do is it will just say it will start it halfway through. Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that should work. This just saves it in milliseconds. Transition starts there. Ooh, this could be a bug. When we save, yeah, it's going to start from 0 every time. That's a problem. Well, it's a small bug. What's going to happen is if you save someone in the middle of a transition, it's going to start them from the beginning of that transition with a shorter transition. So it's a minor bug. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so leaving atmosphere is much easier. We just have transition progress. Fine. Okay, let's see how that build got on. Oh, and I name it leaving atmosphere transition. Yep, that's what was expected. Okay, so let's just try and build the ship file. Sure we're still online. Yes, we are. Ah, there are 5 of you. Do say hello. If you have anything particular to say, it'd be great to know where you found out about the stream. Do you just use the chat window? It'd be great to know how you found out about the stream, and also it'd be great to know where you are from. Trying to figure out what time is best to do these streams. So, why is this not working? No member named leaving atmosphere. Yes, there is, because I've just added it. Leaving atmosphere. There it is. Oh, it could be because I've redone. Yeah, hang on. Oops. Yeah, I need to regenerate the Google Protobuf generated C files. Once I've done that, then the enums will be set up for me. Okay, just building the game. Yeah, it looks like that's working, so probably get not far enough. So if I just do a quick parallel build, that'll make it work well. I'm just looking at my video screen. I'm not. Yeah, I am actually sitting in my hotel room. It's not necessarily very easy to see what I'm doing. Anyway, that's fine. Go back to the Twitch chat. Okay, so we've already overtaken where we were before. It's much faster doing a D-rake rather than just a rake. Some of the other stuff, cool stuff I set up with the live stream as well, where while we're just waiting for it to build, is that if you go to the Sole Trader webpage, oh, it's really slow now. This poor laptop. I probably need a. There we go. Look, got a coding live now option, which is kind of nice. And also on my blog, in theory, there should also be a Chris's coding thing in the blog. Let's see. But it's not working. That works. Is that going to work? That looks like it is. It's annoying. To fix that at some point. Probably not right now though. Okay, ship hold components, modified draw pointers. Ooh. Yes. That might cause a problem. Yeah, that will be why we need a ship. Damn. How annoying. Okay, so I need this bit. Which means that I do need to set up ship. So we'll start enter atmosphere. So I start leave atmosphere. Generate my C tags. I'm going to need to pass this. Yeah. Okay, so pass that in. Means I can modify the thing that I want to modify. And I'm also going to need line 52 as well. Except that I don't know if I use that. Oh, to do. Yeah, maybe the save. Does the save do that for me? Save. And then when we do entering on the load, yeah, that'll be okay because I already have the ship. Yeah, because it's saved within the context of the transition. Okay, that's fine. So let's just try recompiling just the ship. Great, that worked. Oh. Just turn off all my notifications just a minute. Hang on just a second. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Okay, I'm back. While I'm here, actually, that's the one that starts. I set this one up. I don't know if I really want that one in. I think that's probably the one I want. So we save that. Cool. That's more like it. Great. Okay, so it's just finishing off the build, it's just building the test stuff. It's kind of annoying that that's not working. I don't know why that is. Let's see what the error is. There's no error. Okay, if you don't mind, whilst that's finishing off building, I'm just going to load the blog. Trying to figure out what the problem is. Because it's live building now, fortunately. Data stream title. But the issue is that data stream title isn't defined. Yeah, so basically if I yank that and then curl it, let's see it as a function, let's have a look. I've called it title, but it probably isn't title. Okay, stream ID, programming, it's whatever coding and commentary is. Coding, let's say, oh there it is, status. Is there a title? No, there isn't. It's status that I want. Status. Oops. That'll probably work. Where's the build going? Still going. Very good. Let's just load the local version of my blog and see if that works. No, we're still wrong. Okay, so I've not read correctly, have I? Links. Don't need links. Stream. I've done something wrong. Oh, it's almost finished. No, maybe I didn't read that correctly. No, that's not it. Ah, it says status there. It's probably within something else. It's really hard to spot. Yeah, it's bound to be. What I need to do is basically do console log data stream. See what I can't find. Okay, so that worked. Let's see. Try again. There it is. Right, so it must be something to do with preview. No, not preview. Channel. Data stream channel status. Yay, it worked. Right, sorry about that. That was a definite aside. Put that up on my blog. That's fine. Right, back to the code. So now that we've got one of these things, we should just be able to go to load existing game and see us appearing as if by magic. Go down to this one here. Yeah, that will take a minute to load. Frame rate is terrible. Leave that. Yeah, no. Now the only problem is you can see the particles have got a few problems. But it worked. That is brilliant. What I'm also going to do is create a new game with less people. A lot quicker if you do this. Okay. Oh, now the frame rate's much better. Maybe just trying to run 50 players. It's just a killer. That's probably what it is. Okay. So we're going to get the players. And hopefully, oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that's so much better. That just looks so much more realistic. Now the only issue is that those ships look a bit rubbish when they're all stacked up against each other. Not quite sure what to do about that. If you have any ideas for what to do about that, making that look a little bit more realistic, I'd be very open to them. Cool, anyway, pleased with that. Let's try it again. Fix those particles. Replanet. Yay, that's very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to do something about those particles. Yay, and there comes the... That is really good. That works really well. Really pleased about that. The problem is the particles have all run in a batch job. I might have to think about Z buffering, which would be super annoying, but I might have to. See, those guys are moving very slowly. I think that at full speed, we're going to need better engines. Because at the moment I'm using the same engines that I'm using on the little ships, and these things are just too heavy to shift. Cool. Working nicely. Good 2% fuel already. Critical hit in the left engine. Shut it down, shut it down. Cruising speed. We can go a little bit, we're now running at 35 speed, which is very slow. 30, 29, 28. About as fast as we can go unless I put full power to engines without causing to overheat. Okay, we're now running a bit faster, twice as fast. Problem is, I have to just be careful of the pedal right. I'm going to need to put better engines on those ships. It's just going to be a nightmare. Okay. Anyway. That is brilliant. We've managed to achieve that. Oh yeah, I took out the tint colour. So probably I can write that first, which is remove second bloom and bloom. That just makes it look a little bit less lit. Happy. Cool. Hey Laguna Electric. Thanks for popping by. Do say where you're from and also how you found out about the stream if you like. That'd be great. Okay, so this is my leaving atmosphere stuff. Yes. Yeah. No, not that. Yeah, this is all about leaving atmosphere. Those are all the protocol offer changes for saving and loading them. Yeah. Yeah. Quick select all of these. Great. So the only thing I'm not checking in is the fact that we're in a Tiger 2, which is a huge ship. My mic is quiet. Ah, yes, I'm not using my headphones. That's a fair point. Let me fix that. If you back in just a sec while I do that. Okay, hopefully that's a bit better. There we go. Right, so it'd be great if you could tell me whether or not you can hear me properly now. That'd be great. Let's just make sure it's actually using that mic. Let's see. Great, great to hear. Okay. Cool. So what were we doing? Oh yes, check in, entering transitions. Note to self, always use a set of headphones with a built-in microphone rather than trying to rely on the Mac. Thanks very much. Okay, so check in, ship, entering transitions. Okay, so if you've just joined, welcome. What we're doing is just sorting out ship entering the space transitions, which is now working. That was pretty easy, actually. Expecting that to take a bit longer. Okay, let's see where we're up to with the build. Oh, we got a failure after 51 minutes on that previous build. Interesting. See if we can see what the problem is there. And that was actually out of date. Let me just delete that one. Cool. Okay, so what I'm doing is working through issues. I've now fixed that one. Okay, so let's see what was the problem with this build. This is on the Windows build, which would have happened at home back in England, funnily enough. This is C++. Create links was not defined in this scope. What? What? It's working for me. Ooh. Yes, that's definitely my bad. Oops. That's what you get for not checking in everything. The answer is it's now links 1. This is C++, like I was saying. Let me just fix this. Right, so hopefully, there we go, we've got a few more commits that are going in. They've gone in through GitHub, and then the building system should have picked those up. So let's just check that that's the case. Oh, we've got a massive build queue here. That is because, okay, the Windows build's been picked up by my little Windows box at home. C#, yeah, it's pretty similar. There's a few changes, a few differences. C++ is kind of like C# with the gloves off. You know, it's a lot more fiddly and you have to manage things more manually, but I like it. It's my background. I have a background in AAA games, so that's what I used to work with. Right, the reason the build queue is off is because we're not running a Jenkins slave from here. Oops, which I should definitely be doing. We don't have a native box. I don't have a Mac Mini or anything running at home. So I have to actually run it from here. So basically what's happening now is that back in England, my little box sitting in my garden office where I've done some live streaming from before is running this Jenkins box, and that's sending jobs all the way to New York for my Mac to run on them, which is kind of cool, really, if that makes sense. So now all of these other build jobs that are happening, these are just refreshing websites and that kind of thing and backing up the website, all of that kind of stuff that you need to do. So backing up all the website data for all the accounts on SoulTrader. And we're also doing a Windows build, and it looks like it'll probably kick off a Mac build in a minute too. Well, that one only takes 10 minutes, so that's all good. Okay, and ooh, it's interesting, I couldn't pull, why couldn't I pull that? Get pull rebase. Oh, it's probably because the automatic update was picked up. Let's see, git log. Yeah, okay, because of the force update. That's fine. Push. And it's probably got the same problem. Nope, that's fine. So that's because chrisntp.com hasn't run yet, so that's probably quite a good thing. That shouldn't take very long. Some of those will already be done. Yeah, backup's done. Now my 1 minute 15 seconds to do that. That doesn't sound right, but I guess it's just network issues. Anyway, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so now we've done the infrastructure stuff. Jenkins is a build system. So what it's doing is I've set up a whole bunch of different jobs for all of the different tasks that I want to perform regularly. So this chrisntp.com one, what that does is it basically refreshes my website every day so that it forces GitHub pages to build it every day. Same with cardpirates.com. Sold Mac and Sol Windows are the Mac and Windows builds of SoulTrader. This is this website, SoulTrader website that goes up. It just needs the tests running and deploying each time I push to it, and the website backup simply backs up all of the account data so we don't lose it. It's a really useful system that we're running here. Really helps with trying to figure out what is going on. And keep everything in status. And then I have Slack here set up to basically notify me when things happen. So I've got various builds running here when people post things on Twitter, when things are posted to GitHub, and we also have conversations in here about what I'm going to be working on. So that's all pretty cool. Anyway, we need to decide what to do next. So that's finished. So that will now start working. So we can try that again in a sec. Just keep an eye on what's building, because this computer, yeah, it's running the Mac build now, so that will slow the computer down. It'll be building in the background. But we can try it. So what that does is actually builds and deploys a version of the website, so that when you log into the website here, if you're in, you will get a version of the latest version of the game. So the latest version of the game currently available is this which was released at 1:29 UTC last Friday. Now, when that does not contain all of the ship different stuff, the new ships that I put in the last few days. So as soon as those builds are done, let's see, where's the Jenkins dashboard going? As soon as these builds are done, they'll pop up on the website. So anyone who's bought alpha access to the game will be able to grab the latest version. The whole build system is unbelievably cool. I wish I put as much effort into the actual game as I have to the build system, to be honest. But that's kind of what I'm trying to do to try and get everything finished. It gives me a little bit of variety when I build the game, to be honest, because otherwise it's a bit of a slog. I've been working on this game for around about 3 years, so it takes a while to do games. They just take ages to build. So anything that can help with that is good. Right, here's our little ship. Much more maneuverable than the other one. It can turn on maneuverability and engines, and then, whoa, look at that. Very maneuverable. I don't really need that one on for this ship because it's so tiny. So I can get away with half power on the engines. Cool, yeah. This is a good fighter. The only problem with it is that it only has one gun. Oh, slowed down again. I guess that's the build. Let's see. Oh no, it's the AI planning. There we go. Oh, look at those massive ships coming up. That's cool. See if I can spot some other ships. Hang on. I zoom over to the closest jump gate. There we go. So we've got some bigger fighters there. Some of the little fighters too. Where are they headed? What is this place? Where are we? System features. This is Mars orbit. Okay. Now the other thing I was going to do, they do kind of just pop into a jump gate as well. Which isn't exactly what you want to do. Let's just go down through hyperspace. And let's see. There's a huge ship there. Where's this? This is Mars. You should make the bullets more visible. Yeah, I totally agree. They're not brilliant at the moment. I can't really see them. In fact, I need to spend some time on the bullets anyway. They're just not very good. Yeah. That might be something I look at the moment, actually. To be honest, I haven't really spent a lot of time on the actual weapons yet. I'd like to do lasers and all sorts of things as well. Right, got nothing checked out, so that's good. So let's have a look at our issues list. Let's see. No, I'm not going to do that now. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That I need to do, but that's pretty involved. I need to think about what that means. The internal update might be worth doing. I've got a system set up so that the game can now auto-update itself, but I need to put in some work into the actual downloading of the updates, but I haven't done that yet. That would definitely be worth doing. Let's think about this. How big is the source of the game? It kind of varies. Sorry. Let's see. Depends what you're looking at, really. We're looking at 32,000 lines or so. Is that just my own code? Just making sure that is. Yeah. Yeah, 10,000 lines of CPP, 5,000 lines of headers. So what is everything else? 3,000 lines in there. 14,000 lines in there. Yeah, I think some of that is not mine. Do I have an includes directory? I'm trying to find. Oh, the proto stuff. Yeah, no, that's not mine. That's generated. So probably about 20,000 lines, something like that. It's not a huge amount of code at this point. Oh, and I didn't even measure the test stuff. The tests, I've got another 7,000 lines of tests. So yeah, 20, 30,000 lines, something like that. All written by me. Yeah, over the last 3 years or so. 10,000 lines a year. That's how many lines a month? Probably 800 lines a month. Not a lot, actually. Okay, so the bullets. Let's see how bullets are done. Do I want to work on different weapons for the game? No, I want to leave that for the moment. What I would like to do is fix that annoying thing with the particles. Because the particles, when they're emitted, are not emitted in the correct place for the engines. Why not use a visual editor? Because I like Vim and I'm fast in it. I don't really like IDEs. I'm not a huge fan. I could argue endlessly about why IDEs aren't as good. And you know what? I'm not going to do that. Because I think I would get plenty of arguments why they are better than text editors, but you know, I'm not really interested in religious wars about things like that. Okay, so let's not look at bullets, let's think about engines. At the moment, the engine flash is not modified by the entering and leaving atmosphere transitions. So at the moment we have this thing called modify draw parameters. And what that does is basically if you pass in what the ship draw parameters that you're going to draw, it will then shrink down the width and the height. But that doesn't really work here because we have an angled customization point, X and Y. Yeah, so this is the problem. So what this is doing is it's checking to see where the X and Y is. And that's done by size of the ship here. Yeah, but the size of the ship actually is different depending on the draw parameters that are modified. Now, if you look at the draw parameters, okay, let's look at all instances of draw parameters. It looks like it's always width and height. Interesting. Because at the moment, all we do is modify size in our transitions, which is probably wrong, and it may well be wrong. But that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is instead of having a modify draw parameters method, we're going to rename that to modify size. Let's do that first. And then we're going to just operate on size. Then if we're just operating on size, it's easy enough for us to also apply this to the angle customization point. Because at the moment, it's just a size. Okay. Right, so modify draw parameters. So let's just rename this to modify size. Okay, next one. Modify draw parameters. Let's modify size. This is inside human. What is this thing? This is a human. Okay. Same here. Modify size. Modify size. Modify size. modify size. Okay, now the main things, the transition manager goes through any active transitions and does the modify on them. So this actually we want to leave the same, and then I can simply say this can just be modify size for the moment. That can stay the same. That can stay the same. Okay, so that's all working. Then what I want to do is modify the way that this works. I want to say params.h equals params.width equals it modify size, but then double multiple. I don't want to return the absolute size, I just want to return the proportion. And then I can simply say params h times equals. What I'm doing here is I'm splitting out the need to know what the size is by just returning the size multiple. That's much more what I want. Then I don't need that at all, which means if I now look for modify size, let's see, this doesn't take anything, and this is just going to be one minus progress. Ooh, interesting. Yes, progress being, yeah, that's correct. So we don't have to, what's happening before is we're coupling the actual size to the thing. So now, it's not void, it's double. Return 1 minus progress. Cool. That's the human one, but that doesn't really matter. Transition manager, this is a transition. This is now a virtual double. Modify size. Get rid of that completely. Nice. And then this one transition manager. Let's see. This is the transition manager. Yes, that's what I'm expecting. That's fine. So now we've got these new double modify sizes, and this just needs to return 1 minus progress. This one, move through jump gate transition entry. So again, 1 minus progress. This one, it's just progress. Yes. Okay, so what we've done is we've moved the size stuff into this. So the actual transition manager is the thing that cares about the size and applying that, whereas now these things just need to return double, so it's completely decoupled. That's really good. Let's just make sure that the ship itself compiles. If the ship command, if the ship coding file compiles, then I'll be happy. Right, so we've just got some basic compile errors here. So we've got virtual double modify size. Where is that? Transition.h. Oh yeah, that's right, because now we need to return something. So we just need to return 1, which means we won't change it. So let's, oops, run it again. Okay. Error ship is not used. Aha. So now we have a sprite draw parameters in transition.h. And that needs to be class sprite draw parameters. There was another error which was more interesting. No member name modified size. Human.h just got the wrong thing. Yeah, that just needs to be modified for transitions still. So externally, the human doesn't care about how the transition manager modifies it. We can have multiple functions. They modify size, modify position, whatever. Member named modify for transitions. What's that called? Modify draw parameters. I'm more interested in the ship not needed, because that means we've decoupled the idea of a ship from that size thing, which is a good thing. Oop. Yes, I did. Oops. If anyone else wants to chime in and ask questions, feel free to do that. Very open to that kind of thing. Make sure this is displaying correctly. I should probably change the... that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to make sure the ship compiles. I'm just compiling one file at the moment. Language, C++. I should probably write that in somewhere so that everyone knows. Private field ship is not used. You see, that is interesting. So ship.cpp, line 60. In the leaving atmosphere transition, we never use the ship. Would you look at that? We don't need it. We don't need it anymore. After putting in a minute ago, and I wasn't very happy about it in the same at that point either. That means that we've made that much simpler, which means we don't need to pass this here, which means in the game loader, leave atmosphere. Oh yeah, no, we didn't need it there anyway. That's all good. Just update my messages. Fixing engine smoke flash on transition. So at the moment the ship transitions, the flashes don't shrink and grow with the transition, which is wrong. Coding Soul Trader in C++. So that hopefully will answer that question for a few people. What does the underscore mean in front of some code is a question from Cakes and Cocaine. Nice. The underscore is just a convention. It is part of the variable name, and it just simply is a convention that I use to denote a private member variable. I use it everywhere in my code to say that this member variable is private. It reminds me that the thing is private. But it's just a character in the method name. There's nothing fancy about it or anything like that. Okay, I'm building the whole game again. I just need to make sure that that one particular file built. Otherwise, I'll get halfway through the game and then I'll realize that it hasn't built. It's looking good. Yep, so I'm just going to run it, the build in parallel. I'm going to do a full rebuild in parallel. It's a lot quicker. Okay, so once this is done, we now have a transition manager. So I just got a message. Great, so the Mac build is finished, which Means that if we head to soultrader.net, you should be able to see. Need to sign in. Wow. Never been to New York before, and they really do honk, don't they? My goodness. Yay, there we go. So if you have a Mac, you get all of this stuff. Wow, loads of new stuff. So this is the stuff that I was working on the plane on Saturday last night as I was flying over the Atlantic from England. So we've got lots and lots and lots of different types of ships in the game now, so that's worth checking out. One thing I really need to fix is now that we've got these big ships in the game, the engine trails, when the ship is in transition, just looks ridiculous. It's not working well at all. Let's see, is that building well? Yes, that is. The other good thing about having that build finished is that now it's not taking up cycles on this Mac, which is also doing live streaming. I went to the famous Fifth Avenue Apple Store today and was looking at some of the Macs there and looking at the Mac Pro and thinking, wow, that would be awesome. But I've got an old server at, I've got an old, not an old machine, a machine that's about a year old that I bought to do Litecoin mining, but unfortunately is now too slow, too slow to make any money, given the current prices of altcoins. It's not high enough. So it's sitting there not doing very much at the moment, and I'm thinking about repurposing that into a mean and lean development box. If I stick Windows on it, it should be quite a nice machine to build stuff on. It's very GPU heavy though, so I'm not sure that actual code compilation is going to work well. What we really need is a GPU C++ compiler. Now that would be awesome. I wonder if such a thing exists. Is it possible to use GPU acceleration on compiling multiple programs? Yeah, it's a fair point. Okay, anyway. It hasn't finished because ship renderer, yes. No member name modified for transitions in Sol ship. But I didn't touch that. Oh, did I break it? Yes, I did. I didn't mean to do that. I think I've renamed. Yeah, modify for transitions. It should have still been. That was me trying to rename stuff and failing. That means that the entire thing will be out of date. So I'll need to rebuild again. If anybody else has any new questions, it would also be great to know where in the world you are, and specifically, most helpful thing to know from you is how you found out about this stream, because I'm just trying to figure out how to market the stream better if I possibly can. So yeah, if you could tell me where you found out about the stream, that would be really awesome. Debating on posting it again to Game Dev on Reddit, actually. So I'm going to be here for a little while. I'm allowed to post once a month, and I haven't posted for at least 2 months. So it's probably worth doing. But I'm not sure I'm going to be here for huge amounts of time, just because I'm still a bit jet lagged. I only flew into America yesterday, so I've got a feeling that if I attempt to stream for too long, I'll just be too tired. Yeah, I'll see how I get on. If you like this stream, please don't forget to follow me on Twitch. That will mean that you will get a handy notification whenever my stream goes live. You may already follow me on Twitch, which is why you'll know that this is live and why you're here. But that's kind of up to you. But yeah, I'd recommend that to you. It's just a useful way of keeping up to date. I follow a couple of really interesting people. I need to catch up on some of those older streams, actually. I haven't done that yet. Okay, what's going on here? Member access into incomplete type stripes draw parameters. Right, so in the transition, what this means is that inside the transition, yeah, we're modifying sprite draw parameters, which is defined in sprite. So inside transition, we simply need to have the information about what a sprite draw parameter actually is. Okay, so now that all the tests need recompiling. This doesn't take a huge amount of time, so I'm going to leave that running. Okay, so we are working on, but actually nothing here. That's what I'm working on right now. Once I've done that, probably going to look at the internal updater. What I need to do is get the game when it starts to have a little menu option saying update available, and then for it to download the update into a particular part, temporary directory, and then just run the update. I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do that, but I haven't done it yet. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. Different good values per planet. I do need to do that reasonably soon. Feels like before I do that, though, I would like to get once I've got these engines sorted out, I want to get to the point where we've got different types of engines for some of these bigger ships. It makes sense for, some of these larger ships to have, engine smoke streaming out the back because the engines are big and inefficient. That kind of thing is what I'm going for, and they should have large fuel tanks, that kind of thing, which require quite a lot of refueling. So yeah, that is definitely the plan. One thing that I haven't figured out yet is what happens when a ship has 2 fuel tanks and you try and refuel it. Does that refuel both the fuel tanks? At the moment it probably would, which is not what you want. So probably what we need to do is actually query the fuel tanks to see how much fuel capacity we've got, and then fill each fuel tank. Yeah, I think I know what I need to do there. Let me just... Let's just make a note there and assign that to me. There we go. As a potential bug. Okay, yay, it ran. Fantastico. Great. So, now nothing will have changed. So if I load again, got my little guy here, but if I go zoom in, you can see that the particles did not update. But now we've got all of that stuff done, it's trivially easy to go into engine components. When we get our angle customization point, our transition manager should be able to say times transition manager modify size. Ooh, is that the right thing? Oh, not quite. But very close. But all I'm doing is timesing it multiple times. So what I could do is just add a new method, which is size modify. Yeah, but that's not very efficient. I have to do multiple ones. Oh, I don't care about that in that moment. Which basically just grabs, just maps over those basically, and just reduces them down. Double size multiple equals 1, and then just times that, and then return size multiple. Then I can just do double size multiple equals modify size. Cool, and then I can just do that. Can you see the game? Yep, as soon as I finish what I'm doing, I'll show you a little bit more of it. Sorry, I probably just missed that from earlier. Hopefully you've seen a little bit of the game just now. I'll show you a bit more in a bit. Okay, so we just needed to add this method, excuse me. Like I said, I'm pretty tired. That can be a const. I'm not doing anything except grabbing a set of variables. Const iterator, that's fine. And then, yep, that should do the trick. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to rebuild everything. That's so annoying. Changing transitions. Change transition.h obviously causes me to rebuild everything. So while that's building, you can have a little look at the game. So basically the way that the game works is that when you create a new game, you create a whole brand new history. I demonstrate this on the week notes. So you're welcome to go back and have a look at those. Say I wanted to have 20 people per city. Say I wanted to create a character that maybe goes until they're, say, 25. Then what the game does is it steps through the world to the point at which we go 25 years before present day. Then we have a look at all the different people who potentially could have had us. So we've got Marmee and Dwayne, Sparkman, Cameron. Cool, let's go for that. And so we choose that family, and then when we step forward a year, we get Marmee and Sparkman, and it looks like Melvin is our name. We can't customize the name just yet. We can say, do they take after their father or mother? Well, I'm going to take after Mammy, because that's just a cooler name. So you can see now Melvin takes after the mother's side of the family. So all of this kind of stuff is part of the history generation code, which is all pretty cool. Just making sure that's still building. Yes, it is. So it's generating your history. You're now 3 years old, but it's also generating the history for everybody else in the game. If you play something like Crusader Kings 2, it's a similar process of kind of following someone through history, except that this is all backstory. And all of the relationships that are set up at this point are going to be the relationships that you work with during the game. We have an error on the build, and that is because Transition Manager modify size is returning CP float. What have I done? Oh, don't tell me I've got the wrong signature, method signature on that thing. I've lost the chain. I've lost the thing that I was showing you. Yes, it's supposed to be double. Did I get it wrong here? Yes, full rebuild. How annoying. Anyway, so let me just start a brand new window, start the game so we can't lose it. Okay, so if I go through that process again, at some point, hopefully, I'll have an identikit running as well, so you can see these different people. See next. Vivian and Samuel Dwelly, Ganymede, that'll do. Let's do a girl. Alma Dwelly, lovely. Okay, she can take after her mother, I guess, because she's the senior manager. Falling out with sibling Stephanie already, crikey. One of them's got bad charisma, that's for sure. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with. I struggle to hang out with friends. Grumpy and sometimes quite awkward to people. So she's not necessarily getting on with everyone. That's a bit of a shame. Did I just do? Oh, I've lost it again. It's the wrong button. Idiot. Anyway, I'm just going to load a game so you can see what happens once that's loaded. So here's a guy created earlier, Ray Teasdale Boston. It's kind of appropriate. There we are. That's me coming out. Oh, it's very slow because I'm doing a massively parallelized build. But this is Mars. This is the ship that you get given at the start. You can see you've got data readouts and that kind of thing. The ship modeling is actually quite sophisticated. You've got all sorts of different things. You've got power regulators, so you can say, I want power to shields. I'll show you that actually. So you can have power to shields, guns, missiles, engines, maneuver, or sensors. Ship sensors is not that easy to see at the moment, but when you have debris in the system that you're trying to track, you get basically high-powered sensors. The engines will make you go faster if you have engines selected. Maneuver will make you spin around more quickly, that kind of thing. Guns, it will make you fire faster, which is quite useful. Where is my... There we are. That's where I was going. And shields aren't implemented yet, but when I do that, we'll definitely do something. Sorry it's so jerky, it's because I'm doing that build in the background. So if I was to land on Mars, got a number of different people here. These are all the people that didn't get given jobs at the beginning of the game. One of the next things to do is to build some AI so that they actually have interesting stuff to do. We don't have anything at the moment, and they can't really interact with you. The market is much more interesting. I'm about to revamp this because there's a little bit too much sold outness and that kind of thing. But it's not really working well from a gameplay point of view. But it allows you to buy and sell things that you need. So, for example, I can buy some water, which is quite a lot cheaper. Is that going to work? Yeah, there we go. Cool. I can not really buy very much here at the moment. Again, I need to revamp the market. So yeah, it's kind of going quite well. I'm loving that ship transition. That's really working for me. So anyway, did that? I need to quit this. Cool. Yeah, that built. Okay, so now hopefully, if I load that game again that I was just playing in, there it is. Now, it's much, much faster when it's not building. Yay, do you see that? Yes, it worked. So now when I leave, yay! So now it looks much, much better when you're down the particles. Loving it. Loving that. That's really cool. Leave planet. Yeah, that is really fun. Enjoying that a lot. Yeah, I'm really glad I added that. Okay, that just makes the whole thing look much better. If I was to, oh, that was a good trick for the load and save actually. If I now load that game again, there I am. So it saved the transition in progress, which is cool. Okay, so if I decide to be a much, let's see, where are we? This one. This one. Let's choose a bigger ship. So in the generator, instead of a Lynx one, I'm going to be a Tiger one. Tiger 2. Just build that quickly. Any other questions? Very open to them. I'm very happy to answer them. That's cool. Let's see. Okay, so I need to create a new history for this, but if I create, actually I'm going to just be 2. I know this is crazy. You can do it. Choose this family. 1, 2. Start the game. Okay, so I'm now a 2-year-old flying this ship, which is kind of weird, but I'm just doing it to demonstrate a fast into the game. I'm obviously not going to let you do that in the real version. So here we have our It's interesting that if you look, one of the engines is being used for maneuverability, which is kind of cool. Okay, right now if I go down, there we go, and then leave planet. There we go, perfect. Loving that. So that just makes it look so much better. Definitely checking that in. Yep, done that. Done that. Done that. Oh yeah, this is all my decoupling. So I could use this thing for 2 different things. No, don't check that in. I do need that. Yeah, I need that. It's going to be a bit slower, but I'm happy with it at the moment. Probably getting quite hard to see me. Turn the lights here. Probably better. Okay. Is that everything? Yeah, only thing I'm not checking in is the fact that I've switched to a Tiger 2. Okay, so brilliant. Okay. Right, I'm just 1 commit ahead. We haven't had a Windows build successfully built yet. Looks like the Windows build is in progress. Yeah, that's fine. That's done. Yeah. Oops. Right. So my brother's going to test all of that stuff. He's my kind of main QA guy, which is kind of cool. Right, so the question is, what do I work on next? I'm quite pleased with how that's gone. I'm quite expecting to have done all of those things quite so quickly. I could work on the auto updater, which will make testing and adoption much quicker, but it's not really very interesting. I could work on weapons, I could work on getting these new engines in, which might be quite fun. It'll certainly give the game more impact. I'm tempted to work in the new engines. Add different large ship engines are too slow and look rubbish. That's what I need to do. Yeah. Okay. To think about this. What to work on? Might be quite fun to work on the ship engines. Maybe I'll have a quick look at that. So at the moment we've got hydrojets. Interesting. Oh, I didn't realise that. What engines have I got fitted? I've got hydrojets on all of them. Even on the Tigers. That's probably the wrong choice for them. Let's have a look at components. Hydrojets. Okay, so these ones are normal power 500 engine plus 125 heat resistance. Yeah, I thought that they were running ionizers. No one is running an ionizer. Interesting. Engine thrust. Okay, well what happens if we give a Tiger 2 the ionizers? The problem is with the current ones is they just run out of fuel very fast. So with the hydrojets, because they're reasonably high acceleration, but you can see my fuel just dropping. Very quickly. I'm never going to get anywhere. It's going to run out before I hit the jump gate. That's no good. So let's do ionizer. Let's fit a pair of ionizers. Let's see, and if I have an ionizer 300, 500, say I put 2 of them on, that's going to use 300 power and have an engine thrust of 100. Whereas the hydrojet's going to use 500 power and have an engine thrust of 125. So 3 ionizers is worth doing. Now those ships only have 2 engines, so that's fine. Okay. The Tiger 2 is going to need ionizers too. Okay, so that's going to lose less power, which is a good thing. Let's see what that does. Well, the other thing we're going to need is 2 fuel tanks on these things. Same with this one. So now they've got 2 fuel tanks. Okay. Which kind of feeds into what I was saying earlier about, does refueling with multiple fuel tanks double fuel the ship? The answer is, I don't know. Let's see what happens when I try this. Way, that's the right way, okay. So we've now fitted slower but much more low power engines to these ships. I haven't quite finished the ship component balance yet. I need to think about them. I also need to change the names of them because they're rubbish. Okay, I'm going to need a new history. Yeah, again, I'm just going to choose a 2-year-old because it's quicker. Oh, I forgot to let it finish. Sorry about that. Let's try again. Rotation to right 2. Choose this family. Step forward 1 year. Born a boy. 1 year. Start. Okay. Oh my goodness me. Those are even slower. Now that's interesting. I've now got fuel 199%. That's not really what I'm expecting, but oh my goodness, have you ever seen anything so slow? No, that is just too slow. If I redline the engines, what happens? I might even get up to a speed of 9 with critical heat on the engines. Okay, I need to think about this. Right, so these engines, normal power 150. Let's just see what happens here if I do that. And the heat resistance should be much higher as well on these. Let's make sure that I'm not saving and loading the. What I've done there is just doubled or increased the thrust by an order of magnitude just to see whether or not we actually save and load that information. The answer is I can't tell. I don't think we do. So what does the Hydrojet do? Its engine thrust is 125. This was 50 before. I'll soon know. Put it down to 50 and it's dramatically slower. It is dramatically slower. I mean, that is just impossible to play with. Oh, look at those little ships. They look great. Those little fighters. I love those. Okay. I don't think I could ever force anyone to play with the game like this. Realistically, that's probably how fast they'd move. But I think it just might kill people trying to play the game at this speed. So we need to think about these engines. So at the moment their normal power is 150. The engine thrust is just 50 compared to a Hydrojet, which engine thrust is 125. So that means a total engine thrust of 250 on those tiny ships. Now the thing is about these ships is that they are all 6-7 tons effectively, whereas these guys are 250 tons deliberately. But actually I'm not sure that's realistic. I think they would be more. They wouldn't be 250. I think they're going to be more like 75. And this one is going to be 125. Now when you pack them with stuff, then they'll be very slow. So let's see. But that's fine, we're not packing them with stuff at the moment. Oops. Just turn the ship around. Power to maneuverability. Ooh, that's quite a lot faster. But not too painful. Power to engines. Okay, we're moving at 14, 16, 17. It's nothing like a smaller ship. Those are the slower ionizers. The question is, do I need to give them the ability to have more engines? I never want these ships to be fast, but this is empty. It's got 24 tons worth of space. Look at the trading equipment ship screen. Ignore the fact that we've got a ship behind it. Oh, I need to fix that actually. Put that on my list. Yeah, this also needs a bit of a revamp. But if I was to whip those out, sell that one and that one, and I was to pop in the 4000s, I can afford one. That's annoying. What else can I sell? Sell my weapons. There we go. Okay. Okay, so leave, stop trading, leave planet. There we are. Now this is the ionizer 4000. Oh yeah, that's a lot quicker. Well, comparatively. But now if I was to put hydrojets in, trading ship equipment. Have you got any hydrojets? Yes, you have. So hydrojets, how much is worth? 400. Is that all? They're cheap. So the ionizers are the ones that are expensive. So why are hydrojets cheap? It's because they don't use any fuel, probably. Okay, let's put hydrojets in. Leave the planet. Oh wow, so much faster. But the fuel's rocketing down. Yeah, but that's almost too fast. So actually for the hydrojets, I think engine thrust has got to come down. We've got what? We've got an hydrojet, we've got a Voltar. That's a super fast one. Right. If you've got any questions, do chime in. Always happy to answer questions. Slow me down, slow me down. It's night time now, so everything's gone dark. It looks like those hydrojets are overheating, interestingly. Their heat resistance is that much lower. Let's just scoot a bit faster. Running the reactor at full pelt now to get these to work. And they're critically heating. Start seeing damage in a minute. Okay, so let's see, hydrojets. They're not too bad, but they tend to overheat and they're faster. So if I was to blow those, that guy's going a lot faster than me. Interesting to know what the frame rate is, if you're seeing it smooth or jerkily. That's a helpful thing to know. Goodness, I really am slow. Let's redline those engines. Redline! Oh, that's going to blow one very quickly. Okay, let's see, what have we got down here? It's interesting, we've got a ship that's stopped in the middle of nowhere. Why have you stopped? Sometimes they do that when they lose plans. They don't quite know what to do with themselves. I need to figure out why that's happening. Right. Okay, so we can just commit that. Drop the weight of the ships. Tweak to engine sizes. There we go. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day there. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm in New York. It's been fun being here, but I am still a bit jet lagged and I'm getting tired now, so I need to call it a day. So thanks very, very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the stream, do please follow me on Twitch. That would be great. And see you next time. Bye now.